Disclaimer: The Summit of Errors is a satirical work of fiction, inspired by general themes and absurdities sometimes observed in global politics. The characters, nations, and events depicted are entirely fictional and are not intended to represent any specific real-world individuals, governments, or situations. This story is presented for entertainment and thought-provoking purposes. Chosen for its reputation as a neutral territory, Concordia became the stage for a crucial global summit. The city, a pocket of quiet in a world of noise, was known for its impartiality. The building selected for the gathering of leaders stood as a grand and notable structure, its tall white walls and polished floors reflecting the gravity of the occasion. While meant to inspire a sense of seriousness and consequence, a palpable tension lingered in the air, hinting that the path ahead might be fraught with difficulty. The leaders started to arrive in their long black cars, looking like powerful figures from a movie. First came President Reginald Reggie P. Flusterbottom of Amerigon. He had a friendly, almost practiced smile and looked like someone who enjoyed a round of golf. However, his easygoing appearance didn't always hide the fact that he was quite worried about what people thought of him. Amerigon thought that Isla Banana, a small island that happened to have some valuable mineral resources, should have been theirs for a long time, based on a somewhat shaky old family story. Next was Premier Dmitry Volkov of Eurasia Prime. He was a serious-looking man who almost always had a frown on his face. He walked with heavy steps, and people joked that his handshake could break your hand. Eurasia Prime thought that Isla Banana was in their part of the world, and they wouldn't let any other country gain control of it, no matter what. They felt it was important for their country's influence. Then, Empress Tia Li of Orientia arrived, moving with a quiet grace. Her smile was subtle and didn't reveal much of her thoughts. She was known for her intelligence and for always thinking several steps ahead. Orientia wanted Isla Banana for their own reasons, something about ancient history and their long-term plans for the area that wasn't very clear to the other leaders. Leaders from smaller nations also arrived, each with their own concerns and hopes for the summit. News reporters with cameras were everywhere, eager to capture every moment. The opening ceremony had long speeches that didn't really say much that was new. Everyone exchanged handshakes and posed for the cameras, but you could tell that they didn't really trust each other. When they finally started talking about Isla Banana, it was obvious that each leader held firmly to their own position. The important meeting had started, and the atmosphere suggested that reaching an agreement would be a difficult, perhaps even dangerous task. The discussions about Isla Banana started badly and quickly got worse because of simple errors and a lack of clear communication. President Flusterbottom, trying to be friendly, told a light-hearted story about bananas. However, when it was translated into other languages, it didn't make sense and even offended Premier Dmitry Volkov, who took it as an insult. Empress Tia Li just looked slightly surprised. Later, there was a big argument about who should get to speak first during the important talks. President Flusterbottom felt he should because Amerigon was a very powerful country. Premier Dmitry Volkov argued that Eurasia Prime had been involved with the issue for a longer time. Empress Tia Li simply smiled quietly and said that Orientia was known for being patient. They spent almost an hour arguing about this small detail, while the main problem of Isla Banana was still not discussed properly. One afternoon, President Flusterbottom's team made a mistake in a message sent to Eurasia Prime. They meant to say they were thinking about a possible agreement, but the message actually said they were criticizing Eurasia Prime. Premier Dmitry Volkov became very angry. He thought it was a planned insult and ordered his warships to move closer to Isla Banana. News of the ships moving spread quickly, and people all over the world started to worry a lot. The leaders in Concordia tried to calm the situation, but it was hard because they were still bickering over small, unimportant things. Empress Tia Li, in the meantime, secretly made a deal with a smaller country that also wanted Isla Banana, just in case the situation became very serious. The world watched, feeling both scared and surprised that these important leaders could act so foolishly when the potential results were so dangerous. It felt like they were playing a risky game, and it wasn't clear if they even knew what they were doing. The news reports became more and more worrying. Countries started moving their armies and preparing for possible conflict. Experts on television talked about war as if it could happen very soon. The prices of important things like food and fuel went up, and many people felt a deep sense of fear. In Concordia, the diplomats worked very hard, day and night, trying to find a way to avoid war. They were tired and under a lot of pressure, often having to apologize for the latest strange or aggressive thing one of the leaders had said. But President Flusterbottom was still very concerned with his public image and online popularity, while Premier Dmitry Volkov continued to make strong speeches about how he would never give up his position. Empress Tia Li remained calm and didn't offer any clear solutions, simply watching the situation get more and more chaotic. One night, a truly frightening event occurred. A radar system in Amerigon mistakenly identified a large flock of birds as incoming missiles from Eurasia Prime. For several terrifying minutes, there was a widespread fear that war had started. The world held its breath, waiting to see what would happen. Luckily, someone double-checked and realized it was a mistake, but it showed everyone just how close they were to a terrible disaster. The leaders finally gathered for another crucial meeting, the atmosphere heavy with tension and a sense of real danger. Even President Flusterbottom and Premier Dmitry Volkov appeared somewhat shaken by the recent events. Yet despite the obvious risks, they still could not reach an agreement on who should rightfully control Isla Banana. It felt as though they were standing at the edge of a very high cliff, and one wrong step could cause everyone to fall. Just when it appeared that everything couldn't get any worse and the world was teetering on the edge of widespread conflict, a completely unexpected and rather absurd event took place. President Flusterbottom's mobile phone loudly interrupted a very tense part of the discussion. It was his wife, calling to complain about their dog having chewed up her favorite pair of expensive shoes. He got very distracted by the phone call, and just to end it quickly, he accidentally agreed to a suggestion that Premier Dmitry Volkov had made much earlier, a suggestion he had previously refused. Premier Dmitry Volkov, who had almost entirely given up on the possibility of President Flusterbottom ever agreeing with him, was so surprised by this sudden agreement that he simply nodded in response. Empress Tia Li, quickly recognizing the unexpected shift in the situation, announced that Orientia also supported this new agreement, even though it didn't fully achieve her country's goals. And just like that, the immediate danger of war seemed to disappear. The leaders signed a document that didn't truly resolve the underlying issue of Isla Banana, but allowed them to announce to the world that they had reached an agreement. They smiled for the cameras again, appearing as though they had successfully prevented a major global crisis. News of the averted crisis brought a huge sense of relief to people everywhere. However, if you looked closely at the signed agreement, it was clear that the problem of Isla Banana had merely been postponed. The leaders went back to their own countries, probably to start arguing about something else very soon. In Concordia, the people who worked at the meeting place started to take down the flags and the fancy decorations. The world had come incredibly close to war because of some silly arguments and a phone call about a dog. It was a little bit funny, but also very scary to think that the safety of the world could depend on something so ridiculous. And as an observer might note, it probably wouldn't be long before there was another big meeting and another chance for things to go terribly wrong all over again.